Okay, this is the teacher copy and this is the student copy. You want the student to have a copy of the assessment so that they don't see you are writing as they're reading. The first skill is skill 2, which is checking to see if they have consonant vowel consonants or vowel consonants, if they understand that rule. We know that in compound words they have to be able to split the word apart, and so it's very important that they know what the rules are when we have a vowel and then a consonant. So all you're going to do is have them read the nonsense words going across, and then we're going to keep a score. For example, if they say ugh, ib, app, they got those, and so you would just check those off. If they say lawn and then they say fizz, you're going to want to write fizz next to it and circle it, because now we can see that they're mixing up the I and the E. We need to know exactly what they're mixing up, so make sure you write it down. Next one, they say pab, then they say mive instead of miv. So I'm going to put a magic E there because they're not really seeing that rule of the vowel consonant. Then they say kit instead of ket. Now this is showing a pattern that they don't know the short E and short I sound. And then they say rud. Okay, so then I check it off. So they have, I've circled the ones that they missed, and now I'm going to put a score of 7. They have 7 out of 10. So anything 8 and below, they really need to have 8 of them in order to move on, in order for you to move on to the next part of the test. You do want to do a little fluency check to see how they're doing, but this is not going to determine their score. It's just going to give you more information. So have them read the sentences and then just circle and jot down anything that you need to show where they are with their fluency. And then don't worry about the score here. We're just looking to use this information for more for fluency of it. If you want to write down then, okay, let's say, for example, they said pad instead of pab. I'm going to put a D, but I'm going to check this off that they know this, because you can see they know the rule. It's still a short A sound, but they're getting their B's and D's mixed up. So in the comments, I would write B's and D's we need to work on. E and short I. Okay, and probably that's it. And if there was anything for fluency, I could jot that down. Same thing with if they said ip instead of ib, write the P down. So you'd write the P, and then now we know, oh, they're mixing up B and P sound, but they still know, so I wouldn't count that off. Okay, so since they had 7 out of 10, I would stop at that point and I would circle that we need instruction on skill 2, consonant, vowel, consonant. I'm not going to continue testing because this is where we are. Remember, we're only grading them on this section on whether they know that it's a short vowel sound or not. Okay, now let's say that we're moving on to the next one. Let's say that they had enough. They had 8 or more out of 10. Now we're going to go on to the next section. Okay, only if they had 8 or more out of 10 do I move to the next section. But for this purpose, let's say that they did. So now I'm going to go on to blends. Okay, and they're going to go across and they're going to read those to you. Again, you can remind them these are nonsense words, because some of your kids who are perfectionists are going to want to make them into real words, and so then they're going to miss them. So just remind them these are nonsense words. We're just trying to see what rules they know of phonics. So as they're reading, you're going to, and I like to check them off as they go. Let's say they said trez. Let's say this one they said fug instead of flug. Okay, now I know that they don't have that FL. So again, I circle it and I write down what they say, so I know the type of miscue they're making. Here maybe they say built instead of blit. So I write it down and I circle it. Okay, here they said mud, so I could write it down. I can see now Now here they're mixing up the O. They're not seeing up here. They were able to get the O when it's a CVC. Here, look, they said mud instead of mond. Okay, so I'm going to circle that. So I'm going to keep on going and see. Sometimes you'll see a pattern that they know the beginning blend and then they don't know the ending blend, like NT. That's a much harder skill, the ending blends. Also, sometimes you might see, as a pattern, you might see, oh, they know all of the beginning blends and they can do ending blends, but they can't do three-letter blends, which is very difficult when we're putting them together. And so anyway, you would continue doing that. You would write their score. Let's say that they got the rest of them right. I would check them off, and now you can see 7. So again, 7 out of 10. I would stop here. If this is where we were, I would stop and circle it, and this is where we need instruction. Again, I would have them read these, check them off as they go, because that's giving us more information how they're doing in context. So many of them can do it in context, but they don't understand the rule to do the nonsense word. All right, let's say that they had 8 out of 10 on both of those, and I'm going to continue on. Okay, here's digraphs. Again, let's go back to the blends. If they said here, if they said trizz is okay because we know that they're mixing up the E and the I. That's more information that's telling us that they're mixing up the E and the I. But they know the blend. We're only checking blends. So if they say tr, then we know TR, that they're getting that. If they say flup, or they say, but of course fug is not right because it should be FL, fl. So as long as they have that blend, then they have it right. This one is wrong because they said built instead of blit. So moving on to digraphs. If you look at the digraphs, again, we're checking digraphs this time. We don't want them to be put into a group where they're learning digraphs if they already have digraphs. So just check them and see if they say thop, shem, chun, thig, wop. And then over here they say wrap. Then I would put a P here and I would circle it. So now I know they need to learn this one. Let's say they say tash, seth, chub, shik, and I check those all off. And now look, they only missed 1, so the score is 9. But I can't just ignore this. So I would talk to them about, because they only missed 1, they've proven that they know digraphs, but I would talk to them right then as you're giving the test and just say, PH makes a f sound. What sound does PH make? F, like in phone. And so what would this word be? And see if they can do it. And in 2 seconds, you probably have them remediated. And then you would move on to the next one. This is where a lot of them will fall too with the silent E. Again, it's really important that you write down what they say. A lot of them will say here, they might say ready or ready. So write it down phonetically exactly what they're saying to remind you of the type of miscue they have. All right, once you get, we're just testing right now through silent E. So as soon as you see where they fall, you're circling that area. You're not continuing on. Back up here again. If they missed more than 8, if they have more than 2 wrong, this is 7 out of 10, then I'm stopping here. I'm not continuing the test, and I'm going to put them down as being CVC. Now, the chart that I send you where you're going to write that is, you would just put your the student's name here. And what I did with 2nd grade is I just color coded it. So I made all of Miss Leverett's yellow, or all of Miss Collins blue, so that way we know whose class they're in, but that their name would go on the chart wherever they need the teaching to be, wherever they fell. If they fell at CVC, then that's where you're going to put them. I did separate blends, so if they're missing all the blends or a lot of the blends, then you would put them here. But if they're only missing the ending blends, or they're only missing the 3-letter blends, then you want to put them here. Blends is going to be your biggest category, especially probably for third grade, because it's two consonants, and we're blending those sounds together. So it's a tough one. So we separate those out, and if we need to, if we find that we don't have enough in this group, then we'll combine them together. If they got all the way through all of these and they didn't know all the digraphs, then this is where you would put them. So you're looking at your data. We're not going all the way to vowel teams. Let's just go to, well, I did print, did I print vowel teams for you? No, I did not print vowel teams for you. So just through silent E for now, just to see where we are. And if we need to go further, we will. Hope that helps.